I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't
God
that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
It was funny. I talked to some NBA guys this morning, and I just said, God, never have we thought of, like, for 12 months, I think, was when the first absolute trade rumor of Giannis, kind of hit the line. And it's been a year, a constant year of, like, the challenge of the organization. And it, don't think it doesn't affect kind of the communications, the branding, the business health of everything like that. So I think there are definitely some different environmental things happening. But, I mean, I can tell you, like, on a daily basis, Wes, John, Jimmy are like 1,000% engaged on kind of directionally, like, where this franchise is going.
How do we get the rest of the people on the same page, Peter Fagan, in regard to where the franchise is going for the Bucks in Milwaukee? Of course, Peter Fagan joined Wisconsin Sports Daily yesterday, the former president of the Milwaukee Bucks. Boy, when he runs away and now he's talking, I don't think that's good.
No. He spoke with Sparky yesterday. He spoke with a lot of people yesterday, and yeah, writing's kind of on the wall, isn't it?
There was a lot to say that he had to say, but there's also something that you can kind of read into with him doing a little bit of a press tour. Why now? Why is he talking now? We'll talk about that a lot today in the program that is Inside Wisconsin Sports. What's up, Wisconsin? Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Join us on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line 414-677-1250. We'll get to Peter Fagan and all the audio that came from that and the rundown as we start the show today, as we do every show. Saying a little, hey, let's play catch up.
Packers.
Matt LaFleur, we learned yesterday, is hiring Buffalo Bills D coordinator Bobby Babich to join the new coordinator Jonathan Gallen. Did I say Gallen?
I think you
Gannon. In this
Jonathan
idea of
Forecourts.
What's that?
Said Jonathan Forecourts.
Jonathan. Well,
Is that it?
you
Actually,
need
I
a
don't
lot of
know.
milk when you got fire in your tummy, buddy.
That's right.
Listen, this is the kind of guy that I was hoping was going to come back on the staff post Jeff Hafley. Listen to this audio of him talking about how he views defenses.
When you look at just size overall at any position, you might have a player that fits the prototype but doesn't play that size. You might have the player that doesn't fit the prototype size, but you hear it all the time, they play bigger.
Okay. That was kind of one of those, there are 4 downs in football thing and you got to score more points. But what I liked that he said there, Josh, was he looks to mix and match. And I think of players like Lucas Van Ness or Rashawn Gary if he's back, or Keyshawn Nixon in this case, or some of the linebackers, knowing full well that we may not get Quay Walker back, but how will he use that middle field, if you will, knowing that we're trying really hard not to give up so many short passes, even though Gannon likes this shell zone type of defense. So it'll be interesting to see how he views the opportunities based on size of players and talent ability that don't necessarily play up to their size, and what Gannon is looking to do with the defense and making sure that guys are riding the bus to the right spots and having a bathroom nearby. And did I get that right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that what'll be interesting too is to see if these kind of different outlooks between Babich, as you say.
That's what the Google told me.
I know. I can't get on board. I don't know. That's not going to stick for me. It's not like the pair.
You know what would help with that? Announcing any of these things.
Oh, yeah. Sure would. But I wonder if that's going to clash. If him and Gannon are going to clash in style and play call, or if they will complement each other. Because to your point, it sounds like one's going to be a little bit more aggressive than the other in terms of taking chances to stop or prevent big plays in comparison to getting to the quarterback more and being more aggressive.
That was the question, I think. Big plays?
Big plays, maybe?
San Diego? Imagine if we couldn't talk about these things until the Packers announced what was going on with the coaching staff.
I mean, it'd be dead air.
We don't get to know from them what's official, who's coming in, or frankly, when people are leaving. And that's been the hot topic of conversation yet again yesterday. There's something to be said about the NFL looking to those in the Packers organization, and specifically those that have come through the Packers organization, about talent that they would like to go and acquire. Packers quarterback coach Sean Mannion is being hired as the Eagles offensive coordinator. Okay. Are we sold on Stenavich? Because I feel like that hurts.
I have said forever that I cannot and will not give a view or opinion on Stenavich because I don't know what he does. I don't know. Like, if you're the offensive coordinator, there should be more responsibility that is made aware to the fans of what you do. More things that go, well, that was good because of Stenavich. That was bad because of Stenavich. I have nothing. All of that, anything on the offensive side of the ball is going to LaFleur. Good and bad. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm happy with Stenavich. I do know that losing, man, isn't good. I know that I don't want to lose more people. And it seems like we are.
There's a huge connection in that quarterback room with Sean Mannion and previous QB coach Tom Clements. Tom Clements gets all the credit for making Aaron Rodgers into who he became, and he was specifically asked to come back to make sure that he could help coach Jordan Love. We have some audio from Mannion later on this in regard to what it was that he learned from Tom Clements. He told us this 8 months ago about what he's able to take now to the Eagles. Good for him. Yay, Eagles.
Ooh.
But I'm scared now because there are no more connections to Tom Clements that is connected to Jordan Love. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's going to be a fresh start in the quarterback room, probably with Jordan Love being the only consistent piece.
So essentially, we all have to just hope that he's had enough time to learn to fly. And now Jordan Love has to kind of fly on his own out there.
Why isn't anybody hiring Rich Bisaccia from our team?
Well, that's a great question.
A lot of defensive guys, Jeff Hafley, Sean Mannion. Rich Bisaccia is available. You know what? We should put out a tweet.
Maybe they don't know.
They don't.
Oh.
I don't think they do. We would like to notify all 32 NFL teams.
31. The Packers, we won't tag. We can leave them off.
We'd like to notify all 31 NFL teams that Rich Bisaccia is available.
Yeah.
Do you need a coordinator? Do you need somebody on your staff? Do you need a ball boy?
Do you have a headset lying around that needs to be put on a head?
We got the guy for you.
Sure do. I think it's just that these other teams are forgetting he's there. If we sent that reminder, I think they'd be like, oh, thank you.
That's what we got to do.
Yeah. Rich, of course. Let's bring in him.
My patience is wearing out. We're going to talk about that in the morning mind up. I know.
Oh, it's going to be a good day.
I'd like to give us one more week, but the more and more, look at Sean Mannion was reportedly going to be the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. And what did the Eagles do? They told everybody.
Yeah. And then they did it. And then,
right.
Yeah. Like, they had 2 interviews. They were like, okay, they're going to end up hiring this guy. And then they hired him.
Well, I guess we just wait. But my patience are thinning. Why does everybody else see talent within the Packers coaching staff, but the Packers? Why can't we make moves with the guys that everybody else wants to make moves with? We'll talk about that coming up in the morning mind dump at 7 o'clock. Any other Packers news from yesterday that's worth a hill of beans?
Not that I saw. And good. And good at this point.
Onward.
Brewers.
My hands are by the hot stove, just patiently waiting for the big white ball to be thrown around on the diamond with the grass in the dirt. We'll talk to Tim Allen at 8 o'clock. The franchise joins us every Monday and every Friday as we continue to get ready for Brewers baseball. We chatted with Jeff Levering yesterday. There's a lot to be said about what's cooking with the minor league system. There's a lot of attention being paid to the guys that are at that AAA, AA, potentially AAA level, and almost less talk about the guys that the Brewers had last year that played fairly well and or we needed help from, like Joey Ortiz or Christian Yelich or like there's not a lot of chatter about the guys that, I don't know, we're on the team with the best record in baseball last year.
It's very true. It's very true. Everyone has been focused either on who's now gone or who might be on the roster at some point throughout the season. Not the players that were there last year and coming back.
On to the Bucks.
Skipping the Badgers?
No, let's go Badgers. That's fine.
Okay.
Badgers.
Wisconsin versus Ohio State this weekend at the Kohl Center on Fox. Here's what's scary. The Badgers are in that weird tweener position in the Big Ten. They're tied for fifth, 2 games back of first, but them and everybody else. One step away from them with a record of 14-6 is Ohio State, and they're tied for 8th. So if we don't keep our foot on the gas with Badgers basketball, it goes south in a real hurry, or it could go really well in a real hurry.
Yeah, it reminds you a lot of the Packers this last season and how close the records were there. But also, you got to think about, as much as we want to say that the Big Ten, unlike the Horizon League, isn't as much about who wins, the conference. They're still not going to put every single Big Ten team in. So if it does come down to, all right, we're taking, let's say, 8 or 9 teams from the Big Ten and putting them in the field of 64, and you have the Badgers being in 8th, yeah, maybe they make it, but the seeding's going to be awful. They're going to get a terrible draw. So, yeah, absolutely. They have to focus in right now because the rest of the Big Ten is not making it any easier.
Tomorrow, Kohl Center, 1 o'clock. Okay, now we can go to the Bucks.
Bucks.
I wanted to jump to them over the Badgers because I just wanted to start with the worst basketball first and then talk about the fun basketball. Yet again, last night, Bucks 99, Wizards 109. Here's what it sounded like at the end.
It'll be picked up by Middleton, and the Wizards are going to win again. They had lost 9 consecutive games, and then they won Tuesday against Portland and tonight against Milwaukee, 2 straight wins. And nothing accentuates growth of a young team like a win.
Now tell us about it, Kevin
Wow.
Harlan on Amazon Prime.
Wow, that stung for a lot of reasons. I'd like to start by this part.
It'll be picked up by Middleton.
Yep, heard that loud and clear.
Right from the beginning, I went, oh, is this an old clip? Oh, no, that's
No.
right. That's right. Middleton's there and still playing on a team that's awful unless they're playing the Bucks.
Is Giannis traveling?
He was traveling to Milwaukee yesterday. He was not with the team because he was at Peter Fagan's ceremony where he received the key to the city.
Why?
Why was he in Milwaukee for Peter Fagan's ceremony?
Yeah.
Because his relationship with Peter Fagan?
I don't care.
Okay.
He's on the team. If you're good enough to stand, get your ass with your team. I was so annoyed by that when I saw that yesterday.
Is that how it is across, like, for every team? Like, is that like a thing on
It's my
every
understanding
NBA team?
if you're able to travel and can stand and be a part and you're not in a boot or in a wheelchair or on crutches. But yeah, I think so. If you're not having surgery, recovering from surgery, in rehab of some kind, dude, come on. It feels like he's checked out, man. And I just don't like it. I haven't liked it for some time. It's getting worse. We're going to talk later in the show. If you had to name Giannis's 30 for 30 what would you name it now? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. It annoys me. If you really want to finish your career in Milwaukee and do everything you can to help this franchise, like you said, and that's the only thing we've heard from your mouth, then why aren't you with your team? But instead you're at some dude thing that resigned, that gave up on the Bucks, that doesn't want to do it anymore.
Oh.
I have questions.
Well, I don't agree with all of that. I mean, I think that you got to remember that, like, Giannis is a relationship guy, and when he came in here, Peter Feigin was here, like that he definitely was there for him when he was still a kid.
I love that.
And had been.
He's getting a key to the city.
Yeah, but it was
That's
also
it.
like his farewell tour, his goodbye. I'm not surprised that Giannis was there. Now, that was something where, like, Giannis also showed face. We saw Giannis. It's not like Giannis was there at the other games, right? Like, since he was injured, was he at the last time they lost? The game before this one?
Does Giannis going to Peter Feigin's, getting a key to the city, help the storyline whatsoever?
No.
I rest my case, Your Honor. That's all I'm asking.
I don't think it really helps if he's with the team, though, either.
But again, we've only heard from Giannis that he wants to be a Buck for life.
Yeah. And?
Be with your team.
Okay.
In a time when they're terrible and they need leadership. And listen, we'll hear from Peter Feigin a lot in this show today. And he talks specifically about how much it weighs on the entire organization with all of this stuff going on with Giannis for a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis can put all of this to bed repeatedly if he so chose, and he's not. And now he's not with the team. And now he's at a community function for I am so annoyed by the whole situation. And maybe I'm alone. Maybe there are just Giannis.
No, everyone's annoyed. Everyone's annoyed.
I want it to go away so bad.
Well, you might not have to wait long.
So basically, Trevor has transferred his Matt LaFleur hate to Giannis. Yep, pretty much. 920 JB. You're right. That's exactly what's happening. That's the beauty of being an eternal optimist. I only have enough hate in my body for one person at one time. So you're welcome, Matt.
That's why I'm mad at you, because if you can only hate one person and you're still choosing Giannis over Doc Rivers, then or the people that make the decision being the Bucks front office, if you're still going Giannis with the one person, that I don't understand. If you have enough hate to hate everybody, a bunch of people, sure, then you can include Giannis in that. But for Giannis to be the only one in comparison to Doc Rivers or the people that are choosing to hold on to Doc Rivers, I got nothing, because that is insanity. The fact that Doc Rivers has a job, I don't care if people say, well, what, are you going to change things up at this point? Well, you're trying to tank, blah, blah. No, you need to send a message to the people that are buying tickets. If I'm a season ticket holder right now, I've never canceled mine fast enough. I have absolutely no desire to go see a Bucks game right now as long as Doc Rivers is coaching that team.
Anything else?
Now you got my blood boiling.
Anything else?
You got your own blood boiling.
Hey, said only
Phoenix.
Only one person, and it's Giannis. Oh,
yeah, can't stand it. I'm over it. Yep, that's where I'm at, and I'm unapologetic for it. I want him to go away.
I
Trade him.
I can't wait for them to get rid of Giannis and for you to be hanging out in the Deer District with signs saying "I heart Doc Rivers." Woo! Go Doc, we're here for you.
That's not me. I didn't say that. This isn't a Would You Rather Wednesday.
You said one. Yeah, one person.
Yeah.
You have
hate
right
now,
one person, and you're choosing Giannis.
Far more disdain for this Giannis piece than I do Doc Rivers.
That's crazy.
Did you watch the end of the game last night?
Yeah.
What'd you see?
Sadness.
From Doc Rivers specifically. What'd you see from Doc Rivers at the end of that game last night?
Nothing. What are you referring to?
Doc was out of his mind fighting for his team last night. Doc was on the sideline. Doc was in the ref's ear. Doc took a team last night that was down 17 within 3 or 4 in the last few minutes. I didn't see Giannis on the sideline. I didn't see Giannis high-fiving guys. I didn't see Giannis cheering for his team. He was too busy at some community event for a guy that resigned from the team, getting a key to the city that doesn't open any doors.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fact that I'm supposed to be celebrating a coach that is passionate about a team that he leads that is down at 17 at one point to an awful NBA team. You were not hired to do that, to bring a team to that point. I don't care how angry you get. You should be mad at yourself. Look in the mirror. Oh.
UWGB is home tonight at the Resch Center and home on Sunday. Major games for GB this weekend here in Green Bay. My allegiance is still alive and well with them. Anything else on your radar, Josh?
Just that the Royal Rumble is this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And
so that timing on that is horrendous.
Yeah, because it's in Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah, I think it's at 1:00 here tomorrow. If memory serves me right.
Yeah, I think that's right. And but like
in the middle of a Saturday,
they already leaked some clips of like the Undertaker and Randy Orton and I don't know, someone else like walking through the airport there, and I'm like, oh, is this going to become just like a straight money fest, like to where they were like, oh no, we need the Undertaker there, bring back some of these old guys, we need to have this be something. I want surprises in that Royal Rumble because it's a Royal Rumble, and so there should be surprises.
Yeah,
but stop going to the well. Let the Undertaker rest in peace.
Undertaker goes to all the events. He's always in Gorilla. Watch Unreal. He's there. He's part of the creative team, not sitting in the room per se, but he's there often, whether he's involved in the ring or not. I think Chris Jericho is coming back.
I think so too, and I can't wait to see it because Chris Jericho is, if not one of my favorite wrestlers ever. I think it's brilliant.
When we come back, we have questions. Today's questions specifically revolve around Giannis's 30 for 30. So let's just be futuristic here for a second. Giannis is in a position, whether you like it or not, that has him in the news, and it's been that way for 12 months. If we were to pause right now and come up with a name for Giannis's ESPN 30 for 30, what would it be? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. That and more on a Friday, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. So NFL owners are pushing for an 18-game schedule in the NFL. What might that look like? Find out what former Packers fullback John Kuhn has to say about this morning from 9 to noon on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor and Josh. When it comes to Giannis, what would you name his ESPN 30 for 30? That is the question this morning.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh, my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. I think he's coming back this weekend, too, by the way.
Yeah.
I think Seth Rollins is good to go.
Yeah, I absolutely expect him to be back.
That I'm excited for. You think he's in the Rumble?
I think he'll be in the Rumble, but I don't want that to be the way that he makes his return. I think that he has to go after the, Braun Breaker first. And because, isn't that he turned on him, right? With the
Breaker
vision.
have a match?
I don't know. I got to do research.
So particularly if he does, he'll interfere with that.
Right.
If he doesn't, and he hear me out on this. What if Braun Breaker was first and Seth Rollins was second?
That would be great. Or they'll have it to where the Vision is crushing the Rumble, eliminating everyone, and then Rollins comes out and they go,
yeah.
Oh,
See, I can get behind that.
Oh, no.
Ruh-roh.
That'd be great.
All right. Giannis is 30 for 30, amongst other questions. If you have questions, go ahead and shoot them our way. If you woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, which some of you have, I'm sorry that I accidentally poked your bear.
Sure did. I was doing fine.
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh. Well,
sorry.
You did. One person, and it's not Doc. It's going to bother me the rest of the day, I hope you know.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. What is Giannis's 30 for 30? If you were going to give his 30 for 30 a title, what would it be right now? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. Josh, what's yours?
So a lot of it for me decides the title is decided on what happens next with Giannis. If he somehow, and it's a very slim chance, but if he finishes his career in Milwaukee, then it's called the man who stayed. Because
I like that.
Because that they don't. When it comes to Milwaukee, they don't stay. And he would have been the one that did. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, so I don't think that's going to be the title.
I was going to say, when he leaves.
I think the title is going to be called Per Sources.
That's good.
Because as sad as it is, and despite him being an absolutely amazing two-time MVP, finals MVP, and a champion, his narrative is so much becoming just about all of the trades and the narrative of him getting out of Milwaukee, even though he isn't out of Milwaukee yet. It's just becoming the defining part of his career is the questions around when is he leaving that's followed him for a decade.
So I have one that's just in general, meaning I don't care what happens from this point forward. I think it fits. And I think you can take the narrative whichever way you so chose. Freak show. Giannis 30 for 30. Yep. Freak show. It could be based on how much of a freak he is on the court. It could be based on how much of a freak show this whole thing has become here in Milwaukee. And it could be a freak show based on whatever happens next. I think it covers all of the bases. The other one, per your idea of him staying. And I think this is where my annoyance comes from. By the way, let me say that loud and clear. I know I said I hate. I don't hate. I don't hate anything. I very much get annoyed by specific things, and that's when my blood boils. But that is individualistic and it's situationally most of the time. When this one came out a year ago, the annoyance has only grown since then, and it's clearly reached a peak, at least here in the last week.
Ooh, that was another one of mine. When the freak peaked. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So the one I was going to say was, let's say he stays. Let's say he somehow puts all of this to bed, that it's all BS, that he gets in front of a podium and says, stop. Stop talking to agents. Stop listening to them and hearing that their word is gospel. Stop reading into other teams making offers for me. I've sat down with the Milwaukee Bucks ownership group. I am staying here. I need him to be in front of a mic. Okay. If that's the case and he stays, then I think his 30-30 should be named the right way.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
When he won the championship, isn't that what he said? We did it. We did it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was no super team, put together with megastars like you saw in Miami with LeBron and et cetera, plenty of other examples. Yeah, I like that one.
What say you, Wisconsin? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. Lots coming in. Here we go.
Yeah.
The 906 says, 30 for 30. Child in a man's body. There's a lot of annoyance.
Yeah, they're not going to name it that, but all right. Yep.
262. Well, duh. It's not about whether they're going to name it.
Oh.
It's what people think it should be named based on how they're feeling.
Gotcha.
262. Freak off the leash.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
920. Giannis. Conflicted.
I like
really
that.
Good. Here's a really good one. The 920 says the 30 for 30 for Giannis should be named Milwaukee's savior. Do you agree with that, Josh?
1,000%. At least the Bucks. I mean, I've said it before. There was a realistic chance that if Giannis does not pan out, the Milwaukee Bucks do not exist. That there were way too many talks about the team moving to Seattle or somewhere else of Milwaukee not wanting to build a new arena, not wanting to invest in the team, the NBA kind of forcing their hands, saying you got to do something and blah, blah, blah. The Deer District, Fiserv, everything happening in downtown Milwaukee. The landscape of downtown Milwaukee does not look the way it does if not for Giannis. 100%.
That's the truth. There's a chance that team isn't even here.
Right.
I'll give you that. If he leaves, the title should be Liar, the 262. I think that's interesting, Josh, where people land on this, because there are some like you who are very much retroactive. Look what he's done for us. I don't care what's going on now. It might be time, but at the end of the day, we love Giannis.
Yeah, which is
there's others that don't
look at it, yeah.
Don't. Well, no, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
The other side of this is more about he's an athlete. He's not my friend. We're not sitting down and having dinner. I'm not talking to him. I am a sports fan. And as a fan, I'm done. And I don't know that there's many people in between. Are any of you in between, or do you feel like you have your feet firmly planted in the we'll love him forever because of what he did for us, or I'm so over this, I want him to go away? It really does feel like Favre to me. I was so over Favre, and I absolutely loved Brett Favre. Loved. I bought a Jets jersey, bro.
So let me ask you a question. Where was your Packers fandom before Brett Favre?
I was a child. I didn't have any. I was literally,
okay.
It was, so Favre didn't get here until 92. I was born in 83. I was 9. I remember Don Mikowski.
Okay.
But I didn't have like that fandom piece because I just was a kid.
The reason why I ask, because I was born in 90, so I was literally 2. So, I mean, the Packers have been super relevant my entire life. The Bucks have not. And so for anyone that's out there that does not have the idea of appreciating Giannis or what he's done, I want to know how many of those people were season ticket holders for the Milwaukee Bucks before Giannis. Tell me how many people that feel that way were extremely in on the Bucks when they were in last place every single year, and you would go to games and see more of the opposing team's colored jersey than Bucks colored jerseys, and you are still saying, good riddance, get rid of Giannis. I don't understand how you can do that, because you don't know a good Bucks team without Giannis.
We do. Yeah, we do. The
2001.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Vin Baker's teams weren't terrible, not last place. Glenn Robinson came in, Sam Cassell, Ray Allen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's where we're at, though. That's where we were celebrating weren't terrible.
Josh, that's where we were for 50 years.
Correct.
50 years.
Correct.
And Giannis, and do you know what happened last time they won a championship before Giannis? They traded Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And
because
then for
it wasn't going to work out.
50 years, we
celebrated
not being terrible. That's my point.
No. They weren't terrible for 50 years. That's my point. So I hear what you're saying in regards, but dude, you can't sit here and say that team in the late 90s, early 2000s wasn't A, drawing fans, because it was. The Bradley Center was packed back then. And B, that they weren't good. Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and then it all fell apart. They trade the worst trade in the history of trades.
Well,
Ray Allen, right? I understand, and you call Green Bay entitled town. That's what
Aaron
think.
Nagler calls it that, but I think he's right.
So do you.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I'm just saying, don't give me credit for that. That's a Nagler cheat. That's a Nagler trademark. I don't want to get sued.
Trademark. God, are those things expensive?
So I've heard.
The idea, though, may be that you were born in 1990. No different than other people that have only known the Green Bay Packers since they won the Super Bowl with Brett Favre. There is a piece of this that says, whoa. Look at the Brewers. They didn't make the playoffs from 82 until 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And now since then, major player. Now the expectation. But Wisconsin sports haven't always been this way.
Right.
Michael Finley, Badgers basketball. Nothing burger before he got to town and they started to do some things with then head coach Stu something. He went to be the NBA assistant commissioner, I feel like. Stu something. I feel like he had a vitiligo spot in his hair. There was a white spot in his hair. That's how photographic memories work. I got nothing else.
Sure.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. If you're going to name Giannis's 30 for 30, what is it? When we come back, we'll continue to read those. Plus, play for you. Is it an electrifying sound?
I think it is.
Okay, good. It's been a week of some things not so electrifying. That's why I wanted to make sure. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's time for
The most electrifying,
sound of the day
the most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
You guys did a good job with like quoting Crowder. I mean, look back a year. I mean, the statute of limitations on the Giannis trade. I get it. I get the trade deadline coming up next week. But I mean, this has been the year which I could have never fathomed that every day of NBA news has been whether Giannis is going to get traded or not. You know, which is kind of, I think organizationally has been tough for us and kind of like a challenge. And I think in today's NBA, if the average fan isn't thinking that 30 teams aren't talking about the 5 or 10, generational superstars and where they could possibly move and what could happen, like they've got to be out of their mind, to get it. And I think like now a little bit, more serious. Listen, we're focused on, which we are. We are not performing well. Like this is a beyond disappointing season to date. I think the focus is how do we improve right away, and then how do we really think about the future? And that's no brain surgery for anybody, thinking about basketball. Is the ownership and John Horst and everybody's trying to roadmap like what the next 3 months look like and what the next 3 years look like.
And that is Peter Fagan joining Sirius XM. And that is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Peter Fagan also joined Wisconsin Sports Daily with Sparky. And we're going to have more audio of that. But that piece, as he was kind of making his rounds when he was on Sirius XM yesterday, I thought was very interesting. They kind of pushed him a little bit more than I feel like maybe Sparky did. I mean, you have to assume when he's doing this much access, there's pre-screening going into it of, I'm not going to talk about Giannis. I'm not going to come out and just say what's happening with him or what I've heard or blah, blah, blah. But I did think the points that they got out of him were very interesting.
I feel like that was electrifying.
Because in comparison to what we have heard or seen, that was the first time to me that I heard someone within the front office of the Bucks, even though he's not there anymore, which maybe is why he feels a little bit more easy to talk about it. But the first time I've heard from anyone that said what needed to be said in terms of, ownership is looking at not just the next 3 months, but 3 years. And how do we do that? Which is everything that Bucks fans that were maybe living a little bit of an optimism world of Giannis staying and not believing the Shams back into the realistic world of, but the Bucks need to look to the future too. They need to be able to handle both.
Anybody that owns their own business gets that. If you don't, you may not. But if you own your own business and you're looking at a situation now, you are also looking at the next 3 years. And in regard to the way Peter Fagan talked, I heard one thing specifically that stood out to me, Josh, and I wonder if you heard it. The word we. We get ripped on for that a lot in Wisconsin.
Oh.
People hate the word we when we refer to our teams.
Yeah. What do you play? I haven't seen you at first base.
Exactly. Get out of me. I'm an unapologetic we guy.
Same.
I thought it was interesting that Peter Fagan was using the word we.
Yeah. I mean, especially since he's now a former, I think that just comes with time. Like you can't for 12 years say we and then one day just flip that switch and say
you
they.
Can if it ended super negatively. If it ended really poorly, you aren't saying we anymore. So I wonder if they're starting to execute what we would call in the business of owning your own business, a strategic plan. I wonder if the Bucks are now flipping the switch on their strategic plan. Haslam's bringing in his own guys. They're going to trade Giannis. It is time to flip the switch. And it sounds like Peter Fagan may have known this was coming. I'm not putting words in his mouth. I'm simply just saying there's an opportunity here where he did not sound in any of the appearances he made, whether it was here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, yesterday with Sparky, or on Sirius XM or any of the other places. He did not sound like somebody that was asked to leave. It sounded more like a plan.
I know a lot of people will just say that I'm just completely in Giannis's corner forever and ever. He is my favorite. However, if you've been listening to the show as we've gone through all of this, it wasn't the Shams articles. It wasn't the Windhorst breaking news that's done anything for me. Everyone that said, well, here's some smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. The only thing that has happened this entire time that has had me go, uh-oh, was when Peter Fagan said, I'm done.
I'm out.
And I went, that's not good. That alone is the reason why I have gone. I don't think Giannis is going to be here. I don't think so. Not if Peter Fagan just happens to step down. There's a change coming.
If you need to get more things about Giannis off your chest or anything else on this Friday morning as you have one day left before the weekend, now is the time to get it out. 414-677-1250, the Nick DeLay Law Fan Talk and Text line. When we come back, it's the morning mind dump. Josh might be right about something. Don't clip that. Might.
Yes.
Very large capitalized letters. Might.
Oh, it doesn't. That's no. That's the new open for the show.
Close enough.
Actually,
Close enough.
That's going to be it. Dry, no music, just you saying that.
I kind of like our open right now.
It's not that good.
Becoming impatient with the Packers coaching situation. I'll explain. We want your takes. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's time for today's fan weather forecast brought to you by Habish, and Rotier. A little snow in the forecast today with a high of 19 degrees. It's currently 8 degrees in Milwaukee, but the wind has it feeling like -3. This has been your Habish, and Rotier fan weather forecast.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
Really, when the players got back, we talked about standards and expectations for our room. And one of the first bullet points there was honest assessment. And that's really what we're giving him, right? And that's what Tom provided for Jordan last year, is an honest assessment, right? Because if we are, avoiding talking about something, or if we're maybe getting stuck on one little thing in the whole grand scheme of things, you just have to provide your honest assessment at all times. So that's really the role of a quarterback coach, and Tom was great with that, right? And Tom was very discerning in terms of, hey, what's a succinct coaching point that can really land for Jordan to help him execute the play as good as possible.
That is now former Green Bay Packer quarterback coach Sean Mannion on what he learned from Tom Clements. Why is he the former? Because he's now the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. Yay us.
Yeah.
What's up, Wisconsin? Happy Friday. You're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor Thomas and Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live on YouTube and Twitter. Join us there if you want to see our ugly mugs. Follow along if you want to hear what we have to say. Which, if you're here right now, there's a chance that you want to hear what we have to say. So you can check us out there if you'd like, at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh. Follow the station and the network at WI Sports Radio, at Inside Wis Sports, where somebody tweeted the other day, Josh, that this show was good and is only getting better and more entertaining.
I appreciate that.
Thanks to my dad for chiming in on Twitter.
Sign up for Twitter just to say it.
Let's get it off our chests and out of our heads on this Friday morning edition of the Morning Mind Dump.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee has kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. What do you got to get off your chest and out of your head on a Friday so you not only don't carry it with you today, but definitely don't carry this stuff with you into the weekend? Anything pending in your world, Josh, that you got to get off your chest and out of your head this morning?
No, I've had a lot weighing on me the last couple days. Some personal stuff, dealing with all this Giannis stuff. I needed a break from getting things off my chest, and today's exactly what I needed on a Friday. based on where I know we're going and you getting things off your chest. So let's just get right to it.
My patience is wearing out with all this Packers coaching staff, non-news, non-moves, and then teams are plucking our guys away over and over. And this is not the first time this has happened. Remember Ben McAdoo, 2012, 2013? He was the Packers quarterback coach. He got plucked to go and be the offensive coordinator for the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Getsy, in the Matt LaFleur era, he was the quarterback coach and also the passing game coordinator in 2020 and 2021. He got plucked to go and be the Bears offensive coordinator. And now yesterday, Sean Mannion was hired away to be the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. What scares me about all this is that when Tom Clements first got here in 2008 to right the ship with Aaron Rodgers, that was the one thing that was super duper consistent with the Packers and the QB room. It is no surprise that Matt LaFleur is good at helping quarterbacks become who they are. However, how much of that credit needs to go to Tom Clements? When Luke Getsy left the Packers, Tom Clements was like retired and happy with life. And then, hey,
housekeeping.
Hey, bud. Oh, you're bored in retirement, are you? We could really use you back here. I don't know if you saw, we got this new guy, Jordan Love. Could really use your help. Sean Mannion learned a lot from Tom Clements and now takes all of that knowledge out to Philadelphia. Yet, there is one person still in the Packers organization whose name was mentioned, who might be able to slide right back into that slot. And that's Luke Getsy. Unless somebody else wants to come and pluck him and make him into something else, because we're not apparently making any moves. Apparently, I'm just full of it today. Here we go. So I hate the words. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I have a lot of hate in me. Anything, always, nothing, never. I very much dislike those words.
Yeah,
I think it sounds extreme. It sounds unemotionally intelligent. Nothing ever is anything, always, nothing, never. Ever.
What?
Patience is waning thin. Why? I don't understand the strategy. I don't understand why we haven't come out and made any announcements about these hires, specifically Jonathan Gannon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they haven't made any announcements about making moves. As much as I believe there are still moves to be made within the next week. That's my timeline, not yours, not theirs. But my struggle I just don't understand. And I would love to know, like we talked earlier this week, who do you want to sit down and have a beer with, right? I don't understand the strategy of the secretiveness, the quietness, specifically when it comes to stuff like this. Clearly, there's information being leaked out per sources from 1265 Lombardi Avenue, but nothing's official. And I don't understand that. That doesn't mean they're not making moves. That doesn't mean they don't have plans. But my patience in silence is waning. Josh, does that mean that you were, I can't even say it. Were you?
Go ahead.
Were you right on making sure that, like, why? Tell me why.
Sure was right, because it's weird. So two things here. First of all, everyone hear that? Trevor Thomas said I was right.
No, I asked if you were right.
No, don't worry. We have the audio of it. Play it forever. Okay. So first that. Second, that's the frustration for me. And we talked about it with Kuhn at the end of the show yesterday, was I don't want to hear in regards to the Packers, well, this is how the Packers have always done things, when it's unnecessary. Think about the message that you're putting out by not having these guys speak, by not having someone address the fan base. And you are the team that is owned by the fan base, right? It super contradicts yourself. You can't be secretive from the fans when then you sell them pieces of paper and say, you guys are owners, you're funding us. No, you got to give us a little something. If there was one guy and that one guy didn't want to talk, well, then we would just be mad. Jerry Jones or whatever family, take your pick. That's not the way the Packers are. So the Packers shouldn't be able to have it this way. They have to be more transparent with these type of things. This isn't giving away information to other teams as if it's like week 16 in the season and you don't want to blow the big plan. The reports came out that you hired the guy. What? Why are you afraid to say, yep, that's true. Here we go. We hired him. Even if he doesn't speak yet, which I want him to, we haven't even seen anything officially from like the Packers social media channels showing them in the building, doing anything to validate any of it, which is so frustrating. So I'm really glad that you're coming to the realistic side of that's weird and frustrating as a fan to see the Packers organization doing that. Okay, that's one. Two, your part about saying, why does everyone else see the talent within the Packers coaching staff, but not the Packers?
Yeah.
And talking about other people going other way. This, to me, makes sense. Because the Packers have been winning, and they bring pieces in, and so then other struggling franchises go, okay, well, Jordan Love plays really, really, really good football. We should find out who his. Okay, maybe we should pluck that guy and have him be our next. Okay, Hafley worked with these guys, and Hafley wants this guy. Okay, and these guys are going. So it makes sense that guys are taking new opportunities because they need to advance their own careers, and it's just the natural progression. The reason why you're frustrated with that as a Packers fan is because you want the Packers to elevate them. You can't elevate coaches if you're not getting rid of other coaches. If you're Ed Policy and you're keeping everything status quo, then yeah, you're going to lose the other guys. And finally, I think the reason why that's happening is because every coach that is in that umbrella of Packers coaches right now realizes the closing of the window. They see that working under Matt LaFleur isn't going to be a 5-year plan unless they win a Super Bowl, which is insanely unlikely. People need to realize that, even if they're a really good team. We've had a lot of good teams in Green Bay. Things still have to go your way to win a Super Bowl. There's luck involved. And so if I put myself in their shoes and I'm a coach on that Packers coaching staff, and I go, my days are numbered here, whether I want them to be or not, this might be the time I got to jump out. And if I get another opportunity, because I might only get to be here for another year or two until they clean house, bring someone else in, and that guy kicks me to the curb.
Do you think it's a lack of confidence in Matt LaFleur? I
think it's that plus an expectation from the organization on Matt LaFleur's timetable of what he has left. I think if I'm under him and I'm hearing the rumblings of Matt LaFleur has 2 years to prove something, and I'm trying to advance my career from quarterback coach to offensive coordinator to head coach someday, I'm realizing that's not going to happen if I'm staying here. We fail, and then they clear house. So it would make sense for them to want to pack their bags, move on, and try to advance their career with a guy that has a 5-year contract, a 5-year window, in comparison to the 2 years that Matt LaFleur has.
My annoyance with this might go back to them just keeping everything in place to begin with. Because I was very loud thinking we should move on from Matt LaFleur. I have since said that if they somehow win the Super Bowl this coming season, the Packers, I will literally eat crow. Literally, on the air, I will eat crow. I'm not excited about it, but I will do it because I can admit when I was wrong. I was talking with a buddy last night. We were talking about how the Packers seem to have given Matt LaFleur and the regime and the coaching staff a pass based on the injuries. We've talked about that ad nauseum on this show. He brought up a very fascinating point to me. He said the injuries were the games. You mean the games where the Packers had the lead and they blew it? That injured Packers team? The Packers were up significantly in at least 3 different games post injuries and blew it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a coaching deal. I'm starting to understand, maybe to your point, Josh, some of these guys look at that and go, to your point, if I'm going to get out, it's now, because if we're not changing anything, always, nothing, never, then I got to move on. That is horrifying.
Man, this is vindication. These are all things that I was saying at the end of the season, towards the end of the season. Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing the effects we're seeing right now from these coaches moving on are the same reason why I was frustrated with Ed policy of saying, "No, I think we're good with the status quo. Let's just completely buy back into how things were." And just because of the injuries, that's the only thing that was wrong. Wasn't the case.
What are your thoughts, Wisconsin? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. Why do you think this is happening? Why do you think many of our coaching staff are getting plucked, moved on from? Not by our choosing, by the way, and good for them, but it's happening in the organization a lot. Happened with Miami, right? There's 2 dudes down there that had major fingers in the game here in Green Bay. Now we lose Mannion, but yet there's other guys that were involved with the Packers, like Campy or Tolzien. Mm-hmm. The way that the Packers develop their top dog front office, coaching staff, GM, assistants, all that stuff, I would like to know if any other team has gotten plucked like the Green Bay Packers have over the years.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because I couldn't tell you a single quarterbacks coach on any other team. Like, I don't even know that I could name most coordinators, period. But these guys that haven't even reached an OC or a DC position in Green Bay are getting taken and moved to other teams for opportunities. And it has to be because they're seeing the success and a good hire, which if all of those are Matt LaFleur's calls, then you got to give him credit for that. Even if you don't like the way that he manages games or speaks at the podium, if he's the one that's choosing some of these guys to be part of his staff over the last however many years, and the rest of the NFL is going, that guy's a brilliant mind, we need him in our building, then Matt LaFleur at the very least, he's good at hiring the right people.
Yeah, good at putting the right people in the right seat on the bus. See what I did there? The 608, is it too much to ask for a press conference? That's the feeling.
That's all we're saying. To be honest with you, I don't even need that. Right.
It's just a release.
Just maybe something official. Just something. I would like a press conference because I work in radio, and I would like the audio, and I would like to hear and have more clips of Jonathan Gannon speaking besides the one of fire in my gut. But
yeah, use a little bit more firepower.
Yeah, but just even if I'm not being picky, just make the statements, the per sources, official. Just make it official. What are we waiting for? I'm so confused. The only thing I've even heard.
You're talking about Giannis, right?
No. Stop. Oh, stop it. Why would you do that? Oh.
Is it different?
Yes.
No, it is not.
Yes.
What's different about it?
The fact that Doc Rivers still exists.
Now, nice try.
What?
Everything that you just said about wanting press conferences and making it official and real and podiums and sound bites and all of that could easily be taken out of the Green Bay Packers organization and Giannis put in, and the narrative still fits.
If they did that and I've said this 100 times, I've refuted this point 100 times. Anyone that says, well, Giannis could just come out and end all of this. If Giannis did exactly what we're asking from the Packers organization and said, I want to stay in Milwaukee, the national narrative will be either clearly they didn't get the offers that they wanted for Giannis, and he'll still try to make a move during the offseason, or they'll say something more about the team, and they'll say, even if Giannis wants to stay, the Bucks should still move on from Giannis. It's terrible for the team, blah, blah, blah.
That's a national narrative. But what about ours? What about Wisconsin's narrative?
Well, that's what I'm saying. For years, like literally years, locally in the state, we were able to tell the national media to shut up, and we weren't buying in. And we were like, oh, we just hate how much these national pundits talk about our city with our guy. Leave us alone. And then all of a sudden it changed, and they wore down Wisconsin fans, the majority, it would seem, of Wisconsin sports fans, Bucks fans, to the point to where they're going, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. Just you win. You win. Get him out. I can't keep fighting you. If the Packers put out a press release saying Jonathan Gannon is going to be the next head coach, or if he said something to this sort, no one is going to say, well, but he could still take a head coaching job. We'll wait and see. I don't know for sure that people are going to that.
Did
that's
you not say that earlier in the week?
Someone else chimed in and said that. But the point is that the narratives that spun from the media is what makes this different between what we're asking from the Packers and what we're asking from Giannis and the Bucks.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. We'll continue to have conversation about what's going on in Green Bay, what's official, what's not, and why does Rich Bisaccia still have a job?
I've given up. He's going to be here forever.
The 414 literally just texted in. Better question, boys, would be why, out of all of the coaches that have been taken so far, why hasn't Rich Bisaccia been one of them?
Because they're going to make Rich Bisaccia do everything that all these other coaches are leaving. Rich, can you also be the quarterback coach? We'll add another slash and have you be the quarterback coach too.
I will quit my job. If we have to talk, no.
The players love Rich.
Somebody else texted in, though, too, as we get to break. Time to see if Gruden wants to be the Packers offensive coordinator. That's the problem, guys. We have an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, what would Gruden do? What does Stenovich do?
What is Steno doing?
I don't understand.
That's the hard part. It's a Top 5 Friday. It's the first weekend since August 30th. There is no football. I need excuses not to do my honey-do list. Not that I really have one, but I'm fresh out of reasons to sit on the couch outside of college basketball and the Royal Rumble. I've got a list of the 5 things that I have to do this weekend. Some I enjoy, some not so much. Now that football is taking a break, and then it really takes a break after next weekend. What do you got going on this weekend? It's not a What's Up Wisconsin. It's a Top 5 Friday, but they mix. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Text sports. Literally, just the word sports to 414-677-1250. That's the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line. You will get a link sent right back to you if you text sports to 414-677-1250. That link will take you to the podcast side of all things inside Wisconsin sports with Trevor and Josh. You can listen whenever, however, to whatever you want. Just text sports to 414-677-1250, and you'll get a link sent right back to you. You can also just open up your favorite podcast platform and search Inside Wisconsin Sports there as well. Josh, yesterday I dropped the latest Inside Wisconsin podcast. We interviewed Matt Erickson, the new third base coach for the Milwaukee Brewers. He shared a story about his first and only hit in Major League Baseball against Greg Maddux in Chicago and what the clubbies did to pull a prank on him in regard to that baseball. Go check it out, Inside Wisconsin podcast. Right now, we have a weekend full of no football for the first time since August 30th. It's a Top 5 Friday. What are the 5 things that you're going to do this weekend because there's no football that you didn't do since August 30th? Because there was football. Josh, what's your list?
I actually was going to have you go first, but also mine is not since August 30th. This is I mean, a little bit not like I was doing it last week. But all right, here's mine. Number 5 is it's the generic boring one, but clean the house. We have more cleaning to do than normal because we got to clear out a lot of old puppy stuff.
Yeah.
And even more since we've been dealing with that. It's not, there's just stuff everywhere that we've just put off as we were taking care of the pup. So there was that.
What does clean the house mean, though? Like deep clean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like
brutal.
Well, I mean, it needs to happen, though. Like,
Don't you save that for spring, though?
Not when you had a dog that couldn't, control his bladder and.
Oh, I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
we're talking carpet clean?
A lot. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a lot this weekend. So, but I won't be missing football. So if there was ever a time to do it, it would be
true.
It would be this weekend. Number 4 is do things that the kids really want to do, specifically Jordy. Like we're going to maybe go to like an arcade or do something just because, again, it's been constantly busy trying to take care of the dog and not focus on just family stuff. So we're going to take an opportunity to do that.
And that's hard, brother, when not only with the dog, but when you and I do what we do, we're glued.
Right.
And our family, this isn't a sad song, but our family takes the brunt of that a lot. So
Absolutely.
This is definitely a weekend where family comes first. Not that it shouldn't be that way. But
it's true. Number 3, plan out details of spring break. Like spring break is going to be here before we know it. And I know we were talking the other day about like we have the trip booked, but like we don't have any of the details planned out of what it's going to be. And so like making sure we cross the T's and dot the I's and have the car rental set. And
hold on. Your wife has her own website.
Yes.
That helps people plan out all of these things based on where you're going for spring break. What do you have to do with the planning in your house?
Oh, trust me, this trip, the March spring break trip, there's always more. There's my Roosevelt's community, the Shirt Nerd community.
Oh, that's this weekend as well?
That's also a part of that weekend because there's a Comic-Con going on. This is wrestling, by the way. This is the Monday Night Wars.
Hundreds.
Shirt.
We had this conversation. Hundreds of those shirts in your closet.
Yeah, way too many. It's a cult.
Crazy.
I'm part of a cult. Number 2 is getting ready for Bowling with the Chumps, which I'm going to provide more details on. But that's the charity event that I put on every year. Quick shout out to my friend Mary Schrader, who was the she rang the bell yesterday.
Yeah, I saw you post that. That's fantastic.
Her last chemo treatment. We helped her family out in 2024. They have become like family to me. I was so honored to be one of the people that got to be there and celebrate that with her. And so now this year we're helping a new family out. And if anyone wants to donate items for raffle or auction items or make a monetary donation, please get a hold of me, DM me on Twitter at OnAirJosh. Would love the help. And then the number one thing that I'm really looking forward to this weekend is the Royal Rumble. It's the perfect timing for the Royal Rumble to be the weekend that there's not football. The Royal Rumble is the best pay-per-view that the WWE does. It's better than WrestleMania. I will fight anyone on that. And this year specifically, because it's going to be at a weird time, it's not at night, Potawatomi put together a thing. They're bringing in big, sexy Kevin Nash. He was Diesel back in the day, if you didn't watch WCW at any point. And he's going to be with a bunch of us at Potawatomi. It was a ticketed event. It's sold out, but I'm very much looking forward to it. We're going to get to hang out with him, eat, drink, and watch the Royal Rumble together. It should be a bunch of people just going 5, 4, 3, 2. I can't wait. It's going to be a blast.
That's a great atmosphere to watch that in.
Hell yeah. I am so excited.
The 920, this is Terry in the Schwabenon, says, GB game tonight, Saturday, the Jimmies. What's that? Blues band from New Glarus at Vandervest Harley. Got it. Sunday, GB game at the Resch. Terry in the Schwabenon. There's some more here about ice fishing. You ever gone ice fishing?
I have gone once, and it was a long time ago. Not as an adult where I would have actually probably enjoyed it more.
I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I am. When that ice pops and cracks, which I know is just the natural thing that's supposed to happen.
Yeah, you're
can't
out.
do it. I can't do it.
And
my buddy Chris, my best friend, is like, dude, we gotta get you on the ice. The Bay up here in Green Bay is the spot to do it. And I'm like, bud, how about I just eat the fish you catch?
You know what always got me too was like they'll have like vehicles out on the ice and the vehicle will be fine. And yet I'm like, but if I go out there, like my fat ass, that's the weight that'll make it all fall apart.
It happens once a year.
But me.
Yeah. Once a year. Some truck, somebody's vehicle is going through Lake Winnebago this winter. It will happen. The big sturgeon spearing thing that they do down there, every year, there's a company that pulls vehicles out of the water. Just that reason.
Woof.
A few more on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. I'll share mine quick. 414-677-1250. Ice fishing, rabbit hunting, snowmobiling, the ice drags, a lot to do this weekend from the 920. That's only 3, this person says, but that'll be time consuming, confusing, possibly, only for me. Monster Jam with my son on Saturday at the Fiserv Forum. You ever been to one of those?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've been
So
multiple
loud.
times. It's so
Dude,
loud.
Nobody gave me the heads up on that. If you're going to Monster Jam this weekend at the Fiserv, earplugs.
Yeah, earplugs for you. You'll think about your kid and you won't think about you, and you'll be like, okay, it's very loud. Here's my one thing about Monster Jam. It's a great time, and absolutely take your kids. Take the little ones. However, I want to see a Monster Jam like in a football stadium, like where they really have room to open it up and like get some speed, because they do it indoors in these smaller venues. I mean, not saying that Pfizer's small, but it's a basketball stadium. You can't get as much room to really get that thing going and have a big jump.
I wonder if that's by design, though. Because if you really get them rip-roaring faster than they can do in an arena, danger, danger, danger.
Well, but you see it. They do it. They do it out in Vegas. They do it at a bunch of other places.
It's true. All right, here's my list.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's very similar to a bunch of other people here. I've got kid stuff, man. So tonight, Riker's basketball game. He's in 8th grade. This is one of the few that he has left. 3, 4 left, I think. So that game tonight here in Green Bay, and then I'm hauling right over to GB basketball as soon as it's over. We'll see if I can make it for any bit of that game. Definitely going to be there for the beers at the bar, though.
There you go.
Number 4, I have to put all my hunting stuff away. Womp womp.
Yeah.
The bow season ends here in Green Bay tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day to bow hunt for the season. And before somebody texts in and goes, oh, Trevor, it closed on January 1st. No. Trust me. I know the regulations. It's tomorrow in the Metro subunit here in Green Bay. Nonetheless, I got to put all that stuff back in the bins and back in the bin shelf. And it's just kind of not that it hasn't been sitting there for a while that I could have done this, but no football. No football. 3, I got to get the garage ready and finish getting it ready for the Super Bowl party that we throw. So I'm a bit obsessed with this Super Bowl party at this point. It's been something we've done, we think, for 15-ish years plus, and it's gotten out of hand, but in the greatest way possible. We're putting a heater in the garage on Sunday. Next week, I'm getting the ceiling insulated. I know I can do that myself, but I'm not because I can't fit up there. And you got to put these things that are vents and homie don't fit.
Fair.
And last year I went to Menards to buy old remnant carpet that I was going to put down in the garage to try to keep the cold, even though the garage is heated, right? And I walk in there and carpet remnant was more expensive than this AstroTurf, we'll call it, this fake grass that they were getting rid of. And I'm like, all right, well, that's perfect. So I got to roll out the turf and get the garage ready for the big Super Bowl party.
There you go.
Number 2, GB basketball all weekend long tonight, Sunday at the Resch Center. I'm excited for that. And then number 1, back to family. My niece is in show choir here in Northeast Wisconsin, and there's a huge competition here in De Pere this weekend, and that's an absolute blast. I am a choir kid at heart and haven't sang for a long time, but I loved it. I was never in show choir, but I was definitely in choir in the musicals and stuff.
Weird that they'd want you in the choir.
Giddy up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The idea of these show choirs today, though, in comparison to where they were when we were kids, holy crap. The amount of moves and props and costumes, it is entertaining as all get out. So we have that on Saturday night, and then we head to the bar. Trevy's not going to feel good on Sunday morning.
That's okay. It's a good day.
Nothing good happens after. I'm trying really hard not to stay in any bar past midnight anymore. And when my buddy Trink is involved, it's literally impossible. Like, you might as well handcuff me to a bar stool because I ain't leaving until they turn the lights on. Plausible. Very, very plausible.
Well, at least you know it. I feel like that's half the battle.
When we come back, do we know that the rest of the country calls us cheeseheads in a derogatory way? Do we own that? Do we like the word cheesehead? Is that something that's favorable to us? Are you indifferent? Do you hate it? Where do you stand on being called a cheesehead? And if it wasn't a cheesehead, what would it be? That list is terrible. But do we like it? Do we own it? I have a thought on that, and everything changed for me this year. Josh will share his as well. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. NFL owners are pushing for an 18-game schedule in the NFL. Robert Kraft talked about that a few weeks ago. So what might that look like? We'll chat with former Packer fullback John Kuhn this morning from 9 to noon on 9 to noon here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht, inside Wisconsin Sports. Many people think and hear the word cheesehead and think Packers. Well, that's not where it started. It started with the Brewers, remember? Ralph Bruno, I believe, was his name, that created the first cheese wedge hat out of upholstery foam and wore it to a Brewers game, and the rest, they say, is history. That was in 1987. I believe Ralph Bruno was the one that actually started the whole making of the cheeseheads and brought all of that to life. I also think he then sold that company, correct me if I'm wrong, don't, whatever, to the Packers. The Packers now own that organization that makes the cheeseheads. Since then, Wisconsinites have been coined cheeseheads literally every time it's brought up in any type of media. Are we cool with that? How do you view that? How do you like that? I am indifferent on it. I didn't see it as derogatory, and I definitely didn't see it as something that I'm going to wear on a regular basis here in Wisconsin until these godforsaken cheese graters came out. Listen to what happened on Get Up with Seth Rollins and Dan Orlovsky.
Wild card round, Packers, Bears. Somebody made a very bold prediction that the Packers were going to mop the floor with the Chicago Bears. They were the better team in every. What do the Bears do better than the Packers? He remembers the clip. I'll tell you what they do. They win, Dan. They win better than the Packers, at least this season, and hopefully for the foreseeable future. So from me to you.
Did I have you for 3 quarters? Were you sitting there going,
every team had the Bears for 3 quarters this season, Dan?
Every team had the Bears for 3 quarters.
Yeah, he's a true fan of the Bears because that's a realistic statement right there.
Big fan of the Bears is Seth Rollins. And so he gave Dan Orlovsky this new foam whatever cheese grater hat that so many have been wearing when the Packers come to town. Now I'm pissed.
Because
now
the cheese grater hat exists?
Well, it just takes the cheesehead thing to a different level. And literally, there are people bringing in cheese graters and cheese and grating. Like, first things first, don't waste cheese.
Yeah, that's where you should be upset.
But at some level, then let's own it. If that's the cheesehead thing and we wear the cheeseheads, even though I think that's kind of gone down. I mean, like everybody when it was in its prime was wearing cheeseheads to games, and Sports Center couldn't talk about it enough.
Growing up, I got one for Christmas. It was like a rite of passage. Yeah.
So do we like that? I mean, I understand we're America's Dairyland and everybody thinks about cheese from Wisconsin, but is it overplayed or is it something that we should double down on?
So I think there's 2 different things here. I think there's the term cheesehead and the actual foam cheesehead, right? So like you can call someone like a something head and it just means like they're obsessed with it. And so I think that in that regard, I think that's fair. I haven't met a Wisconsin person that's really like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't even like cheese. Like, yes, you do.
Well, sense is one thing, but is it like a negative connotation? And I wonder, this is an honest question, were Wisconsinites called cheeseheads prior to that whole cheesehead thing happening with Ralph Bruno at the Brewers in 87? I'm not old enough. Neither is Josh. Were people from Wisconsin called cheeseheads prior to all of that thing starting with the foam on your head? Somebody is listening knows that answer. We just weren't around and or don't have memory of that.
It seems like a lot of people on the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line saying it doesn't bother him. I'm going to run through them quick here. Ziggy says, I can't say being called a cheesehead has ever offended me. My girlfriend has called me much worse. Yeah, preach there, Ziggy. Scotty Tiffany says, cheesehead doesn't bother me, and the fact that we embrace it by wearing actual cheeseheads tells me it doesn't bother most Wisconsinites. 262 says, we are America's Dairyland after all. 414, I'm fine with being a cheesehead. Jacob Navan says, I'd rather be called a cheesehead than an alcoholic. Well, I hope you aren't one. But that's a good point, too, that, you know, a lot of people, if it wasn't cheese, they would go towards the amount of alcohol that we
Well,
consume in the
that's
state.
not something. Have you seen that map?
Oh, yeah.
Where it
Like
shows the
top
counties of the drunkest cities the drunkest counties in America.
And 9 of 10 are here. Yeah.
All of the counties in Wisconsin are the darkest shade of we drink like crazy. And then the comments usually go, wait a minute, what is that, a dry county in like the central eastern portion of the state? Nope, that's a lake.
I gotta say, to the argument of like wearing the cheese, and now the fact that they have like the cheese grater, I feel like that just became popular this season. I feel like I've seen custom ones of that before this season. And I loved legend Leroy Butler's answer to this when he was on K Adams, of saying, even if you take cheese to a cheese grater, it's still cheese. Like, you're not eliminating, you're just grating the cheese. It's still cheese. Brilliant answer. Like, I'm really not bothered a whole lot by the cheese grater hat. I really don't think that it means a whole lot to me. Like, good. Yeah, sometimes I grate cheese too. And then I put it on everything because we're America's Dairyland. So you're not getting rid of the cheese. You're just taking it in a different form. Still a win.
It just seems severe. Like knives are involved. I don't know.
What would you prefer that we be?
Well, I don't know that I have a preference. I was just curious to know where people landed. And we've gotten some great feedback. Well, geez, blink, there's more. I don't know if it means they're obsessed with something. Cheesehead doesn't mean obsessed with cheese, just a Packers or Wisconsin State fan. I don't think blankety blank is obsessed with, well, yeah, that person's making a reference to what else could it possibly be referencing other than people in Wisconsin. I get that. I'm just curious to know if it's something that we're cool with. I've talked to people outside of the state that are from Wisconsin that are like, geez, can we just drop the cheesehead thing? Like I know, but not everybody feels that way.
I look at it like, at least we have something. Like, there are a lot of states, fan bases that what do you call them? What do you call a Cleveland Brown fan except for depressed?
The dog pound.
But that's a group. You don't say, what do you say?
Well, that's the entire fan base.
Are you
this
a
whole
dog
conversation
pound
came up with 12th man, remember?
Guy?
The 12th man. Yeah, we're part of the dog pound. And the Packers fans don't really have that moniker other than cheeseheads. 12th man is in Seattle. We had this conversation a little bit, and that's where this kind of spawned from, was there are a lot of other fan bases that are noted as something specific. We're cheeseheads. Are we good with that, or do we wish it was something else? That's really the conversation. When we come back, the conversation goes to Brewers, where it all started back in 1986. I wonder if Tim Allen remembers that. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
The franchise joins us next here on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Reminder, if you're listening now and can't keep listening because you got to go to work or you missed part of the show earlier, right now you can text SPORTS to 414-677-1250. Text SPORTS, the word sports, to 414-677-1250. That's the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. Immediately, you'll get a link back that you can click on, and it will take you right to the podcast on the website, wisportsradio.com. You can also open your favorite podcast platform, type in Inside Wisconsin Sports, and you can catch up with the show at any point, at any time, from anywhere when it works best for you. Tim Allen and all things Brewers joins us next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
All right. Welcome back. What? I'm going to talk on Tuesday about me. Don't tell me how to fan. Stay tuned. Looking at the rest of the. Don't tell me how to fan. I'm Josh Allman. What's that? The promo there just said 9 to noon for John. Weekdays 9 to noon. Yeah. Do you need to say it? I don't think you need that title. I agree. Yeah, that's just. But it'd be even worse if it was 9 to noon from 10 to 3. Yeah, nothing would surprise me. That's true. All right, here we go. Here you go. Go base hit now, kid.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
I think the Jesus Mate, seeing him every day in Major League Spring Training, and having him exposed to that at 19 years old, the guy in his media guide profile, he was born in 2007. And the double A broadcaster texted me that the other day, Javik Blake, and I just did a double take, and I went, that was my first year in pro ball. I've been doing this 20 years now, and this kid's 19 years old. And hey, kudos to him for getting there. I'm excited to watch him play every single day. Is he going to get to the big leagues this year? I don't think so. Could he be there next year? Maybe. But at 19 years old being in Double A, it's really exciting. I think that the kids that the Brewers got in the Mets trade, Sproat, I think he's going to pitch in the big leagues quite a bit this year. I believe Jet Williams is going to play in the big leagues at some point this year. So those are two exciting prospects. I'm excited to see Cooper Pratt in big league camp every day. He's another big talented shortstop that finished the year in AAA. And another young kid. So just a couple of guys that are scratching the surface that we're going to get to see every day in spring training.
That's Jeff Levering. Milwaukee Brewers baseball joined us yesterday on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, just talking about what could be with all these prospects within the Brewers system. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht, Inside Wisconsin Sports.
Hi.
I missed it.
It's okay.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. I was going to say, Josh, either you play his music or I'm just not talking.
Oh, yeah, baby.
The one, the only, the franchise, Tim Allen joins us on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Timmy, happy Friday, buddy.
Yeah, we made it. Another week toward better weather, another week toward baseball. And Man, you guys with Levering yesterday, that was awesome. And he is right on the money, gentlemen. Cactus League games are going to be just a little bit different this year. Now, again, you do every year get, once those frontline guys, they come out of the game, third, fourth inning, fifth inning, maybe as the Cactus League moves on, you get the influx of all these minor league guys. Well, we borrowed a bunch of guys for this game today because Yelly's only going to get one at bat or two at bats. This year is a little bit different in that, a lot of people are ranking this farm system as top 5 easy. Some have it as 1. Others have it at 3. So we'll just say top 5 farm system. But, man, the high-end potential guys, that's the thing. Now, are they all going to work out? Well, no. Well, but some are. When you have strength in numbers, some are. Find me one of those guys to turn into a Jackson Churio, one of those guys then to turn into a Bryce Terang, then one of those guys to turn into a Sal Frelick, then they're cooking.
Tim, we've talked to you essentially since the whole thing with Freddie Peralta has gone down the trade and the emotional roller coaster about not having Freddie. And one of the big things that we've talked about is, are we going to see any return on investment now, right? That instant gratification. You said the trade doesn't help your team be better now. Did hearing Jeff Levering, because it did help me a little bit, did Jeff Levering saying we're going to see Sproat, we'll probably end up seeing Jet Williams this season in the majors on this Brewers baseball team, did that help you at all with processing the loss of Freddie Peralta?
Yeah, that's part of it, Josh, is that you have to wait and see on these things. Best case scenario is that Jet Williams ends up playing quite a bit. Now, positionally, we'll see if Joey Ortiz can do his thing. We'll see if that's a shortstop for Jet Williams or, hell, who knows? Last year at this time, they were considering Bryce Terang moved to shortstop. Then will that open the door for Jet Williams at second base? Or is it Durbin at second base, and then they pick up a late third baseman? Who's on first? I'm kidding. So you do have versatility there with Jet Williams, and you're absolutely Levering's right. We're going to see him. There's no question we're going to see him this year. Then on Brandon Sproat, the best case scenario would be, actually, just to finish up on Williams, the best case scenario is that he gets votes for Rookie of the Year, just like Isaac Collins did, just like Caleb Durbin did. If he can come out like that, that's best case scenario for this first year for Jet Williams. Now on Sproat, best case scenario would be that he is this year's version of Quinn Priester. And if that happens, that changes the battlefield here. It really does. I think Sproat's the key here. A lot of people are saying Jet Williams has the bigger upside. I don't know about that. Let's see what Chris Hook and that staff does with another guy similar to Quinn Priester. Little taste in the bigs, not great success, still finding himself, fairly young. Let's hope Sproat turns into that Quinn Priester.
We're talking to Tim Allen, the franchise himself, here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Timmy, I talked to Matt Erickson on the Inside Wisconsin podcast, who said the depth of the Brewers is where it's at, and he ironically talked about the depth of the Dodgers and how that helped them. Without money coming into play, the Brewers' depth has been something they've been able to lean on over the last few years, and it sure seems to be trending that way again.
Yep, Bowers is a guy you look at, and they signed him. That was one of the first moves they made, and they made sure they retained him. That's a little bit of a depth, maybe a platoon situation between him and Vaughn, but yeah, the depth part of it is a key here. We saw last year early on, speaking of Quinn Priester, why they had to go make that move. It was almost they were forced through injuries to go out and get some additional depth at the rotation. The depth at the rotation right now is deep. Now, is it as good? Hey, we're used to Woody, Freddie. I mean, we're used to these types of guys in this rotation. Burns, Burns, Woody, and Freddie. I mean, they were your 1, 2, 3 for a few years. That's tough to replace. Can you say that depth can replace that? I don't think so. But is it an advantage to the Brewers just in case things go south? Yeah, it is. I mean, all the way down to Chad Patrick, great depth of Logan Henderson or Gasser or Rodriguez, or who knows what sort of rabbit Arnold's going to pull out of his hat here. But depth is pretty key. I think it's key to most teams. And Trevor, just to finish up, it does give you an opportunity to find a diamond in the rough.
Mm-hmm.
And had you not had that depth, you never would have got the opportunity. And then he's off and running, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm surprised here, but that's a good one. We'll take it.
Tim, when we were talking to Jeff yesterday, I had also asked him, and I'll ask you the same question, but there's a follow-up of how Brewers fans should be watching spring training. I know obviously all of us are just excited that baseball's back, but also you're not supposed to focus on the score when it comes to spring training because that's not the point. So even if you see them losing, that doesn't mean that the team is going to lose when they get up to actually playing games post opening day. And then the other thing that I thought was really interesting was that Jeff's answer to that question was that everyone leaves healthy. And I had never really compared spring training to like the preseason in the NFL of having concerns of players getting hurt and that risk involved with spring training. Is that just me being naive or are you in the same boat?
No, it's there. I mean, you definitely want to. Every team wants to come out healthy for sure, but you saw Blake Perkins go through it last year in spring camp.
And that's right.
Really derailed his whole season. Maybe his career, when you think about it. You just never know what's going to happen. Maybe Garrett Mitchell look at Garrett Mitchell getting hurt. It does happen. However, now on the winning losing side of things, you can call me crazy. And I'm not saying it's paramount and at the top of the food chain. I like winning. I don't care if it's an exhibition game. I don't care if I'm throwing darts. It doesn't fantasy football. I think to a degree they're the same. They're not going to admit it to you, but it's just winning can never hurt you. Just winning is great. And again, I've been laughed at over the years, and I will get laughed at again in Arizona here this year. When, hey, Timmy, it doesn't matter whether don't you like winning? I think it's good and healthy.
Tim Allen on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Tim, 21 years, man. We've talked numerous times across the street how many people literally have, not making you old, grown up with you.
Sure.
Post-game Brewers. I got a buddy that was in the seminary in Mequon becoming a pastor who literally says, that was my go-to. I knew every single time when the Brewers were done, I was flipping on the radio station, making the switch, as you say, and listening to Tim Allen. I got to imagine that's not lost on you. So what does that mean to be in your 21st season?
Oh, man. It's hard to believe in some respects, guys, because, you're in this industry. You guys know exactly what it's all about. And to find survival mode, and some people say, why are you saying that? You're surviving. Well, because I know the industry. How about you say you just have a good connection with a bunch of Brewer fans? Okay, fair enough. That's good too. But any job at all, 20 years, couple of decades, pretty rare these days, especially the last 30 years or so. Everyone's downsizing and doing all their thing. It's just I'm super lucky in that, Trevor, and we are to a degree all lucky on Sports Talk Radio that we get to talk about something we love anyway. It's not like we have to go out of our way to read an article on Bill Belichick or to watch TV and watch somebody else talking about Bill Belichick. It's super cool that we get to do this stuff. But here's the final thing I'll say, and I'm super grateful. Again, I've always made it a point to understand that the community has opened the door for us. They've invited us in. We don't demand that they listen. They've invited us in so they can listen. And there's a distinct difference here. I know it's a little muddled, but they open their car. We're riding along with them. They invited us in. We're in their houses. They invited us in. We're in their earbuds. They did that. You guys did that, those that are listening right now. And I appreciate that. I think we all should appreciate that the invite is from them, not the demand to broadcast from us.
Tim, I was listening to Hot Stove Weekly with you and Tommy Wirtz, and I heard that you have a gig. You and the band have a gig coming up
tonight. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of Brewers fans getting together. We call them post gamers, and over the years, we occasionally get together for tipping a few beers back and get a designated driver. Got a bunch of things to give away tonight during one of our band gigs and a post gamer listener party. Couple of Jackson Churio jerseys up for grabs. It's a free raffle. There's no cover. You have to be there with that raffle ticket. You just walk in the door, you get a ticket, and that's that. We have an overnight stay at Potawatomi, some food gift cards to Potawatomi,
Let's go.
American Family Field gift cards, $100, and a couple of 50s. So a ton of T-shirts, some of the new post-game T-shirts. So we're just going to, I don't know. It's the other side of the tracks for me when I do the band gig, because there'll be cigarettes and a bunch of Crunch beer cans. And I just admit it. But I enjoy it, and we'll have some fun tonight. It's going to be at Swagger's Sports Bar and Grill in Franklin. So Swagger's right there on Rawson. And things get underway about 7:30, and we'll just have some fun tonight. Play some Journey and REO and give away. You guys can win a bunch of Brewer stuff.
Timmy, two quick ones on our way out here. One, Josh and I talked earlier about whether or not Wisconsin loves the word cheesehead, that we're cheeseheads. And that all started in 86 with Ralph Bruno and the piece that he brought to the Brewers. Do you think that cheeseheads is what we should be known by, and or is that when it started, Tim? Or were we always called cheeseheads even before that?
I can't remember when that started. That's crazy. I've never thought about it. That's why you listen to this radio show. I'm serious. 86. I never really thought about when and where and how and all that stuff. I'm not offended by it. I'm not saying I like it either. So it doesn't offend me. What do you guys think? I didn't hear this.
I'm okay with it. I'm absolutely okay with it.
Okay.
I think as being a bigger boy growing up, getting bullied, sometimes you just go, that one I don't mind. And you stick with it because you know things could be worse. And so with cheesehead, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. Let's go with that.
Trevor, you digging the cheesehead?
Honestly, I was indifferent until these cheese graters really came out, and now I'm annoyed. So now I'm like, all right, well, that's not okay. So I feel like it just needs some sort of upgrade. It has been the same thing for so many years. How do we take the cheesehead thing to a next level?
Yeah.
They're literally grading us now. If cheese could bleed.
Is there a negative connotation to cheesehead?
There is on the national level. So
I think so. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of it, I got to say, but I don't go crazy on it either.
Sure. All right, one more quick. The next segment after we get done chatting with you, we're going to be talking a lot about this idea of are there things that we need to read into with Peter Fagan, going on from the Bucks, specifically in the middle of the season like this. We've got some audio and so on. If that change happened in the Brewers organization, would we as Wisconsin sports fans be flipping out the way this has kind of wrangled the Bucks fans? Maybe Giannis has more to do with it. Or is this just something that is relative to the Bucks organization? Because I feel like if this happened with the Packers or the Brewers, it wouldn't be this big headline like it was with Peter.
Yeah, I don't. There's some messiness going on with the Bucks, that's for sure. That's not going to stop me from being a fan, but it just seems like all the negative worlds are colliding for the Milwaukee Bucks. And would it be a huge deal for the Brewers? Yeah, I think so. And in this regard, I think the Brewers are a bigger Wisconsin staple than are the Milwaukee Bucks. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are centered a lot in the bigger areas, Madison, Green Bay, Milwaukee. This is just my guess. And I don't have any of the demographics that say that, but I think you'd find more Brewer fans in Wausau than Bucks fans. Let's put it that way.
I think that's true.
Yeah, totally agreed.
Okay.
Especially across the rest of the state. Absolutely. On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Even here in Green Bay, the Bucks used to come up here and play at the Resch Center, and that stopped some time ago. But that was the idea, was can we get fans here in Northeast Wisconsin that maybe don't follow the NBA the way we follow clearly the Packers and the Brewers organizations? And that stopped. So, yeah, you're right. There's just not as much oomph behind the Bucks in the rest of the state, and it doesn't take much to give that negative connotation to things like Peter Fagan and then the Giannis thing, and it just seems dramatized at the moment.
I think it'd be spun more positive if and when it happens to the Brewers and or the Packers. I think we'd be a little more positive. Right now, I'm just sensing negativity around the Bucks, and I'm not blaming on some of these details. It seems a little messy. Oh my goodness! I mean, Rivers. And did he lose the team? And Giannis were not playing together, and now Giannis and trade and Fagan, and it just, oh boy, let's clean it up, Milwaukee Bucks. Come on.
Tim Allen, the franchise himself, joining us every Monday and every Friday from now until, let's call it, early November.
Until the World Series victory. Yeah,
there we go, baby.
Yes.
We appreciate you, buddy. We'll talk to you Monday.
Guys, have a good weekend.
You too,
Tim Allen joins us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. So up next, we'll continue the conversation. Is there anything to read into with Peter Fagan moving on? And what did he have to say about all the things when he was in the media yesterday, including here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network? Brad in the 414 sums it up well, Josh. Cheesehead's way better than Fib.
Well, ain't that the truth?
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
All right.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Dave.
God. Tim's amazing.
Yep. It's going to be
Remember, Wisconsin, if you missed any portion of today's show, you can look us up on your favorite podcast platform. Hit follow, search Inside Wisconsin Sports. Jump back to any segment, any hour, any interview, anytime, anywhere. You can also text SPORTS to 414-677-1250 right now, and you'll get a link sent back to you that actually takes you right to the podcast page at wisportsradio.com. We're Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, continuing to just pick apart all of the different things that Peter Fagan said yesterday as he made a little bit of a media tour, including making a stop here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Wisconsin Sports Daily and our guy Sparky yesterday afternoon. It was one of those things, Josh, we mentioned it earlier. We wondered if there was a list of things that he said, nope, not talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I was told by Sparky that there was no pre-screen, that he didn't say, like, no, there's nothing I'm going to talk about. However, and I'm going to start here with the clip that we played earlier in the show with the most electrifying sound of the day, where he was talking to Sirius XM, that being Peter Fagan. Take a listen.
Is it true that Giannis said, if Peter Fagan goes, I go? Is there any truth to that? Can you confirm
I think
or
he's
deny that?
very emotionally attached. I will tell you that. I didn't really want to comment much about Giannis, but I will tell you he's a little dependent on me. You know,
What can you tell us? I know.
So stop it right there for a second. So that's why I had when I heard that was me thinking that he said there was a pre-screen, because he said I really didn't want to talk about Giannis much. Felt a little awkward, like, I told you I didn't want to talk about him. You still brought him up. I don't like that.
Well, I think it gets old. I mean, if you're Peter Fagan and you're
100%.
making some rounds on some media and doing interviews, I would only want to talk to him about Giannis.
Oh, exactly. Right. That's the news. All right, here, keep going.
There's only so much you can say, but like what's your assessment of this whole situation? It's going to be difficult, right?
You guys did a good job with like quoting Crowder. I mean, look back a year. I mean, the statute of limitations on the Giannis trade. I get it. I get the trade deadline coming up next week. But I mean, this has been the year which I could have never fathomed that every day of NBA news has been whether Giannis is going to get traded or not. You know, which is kind of, I think organizationally has been tough for us and kind of like a challenge. And I think in today's NBA, if the average fan isn't thinking that 30 teams aren't talking about the 5 or 10, generational superstars and where they could possibly move and what could happen, like they've got to be out of their mind, to get it. And I think like now a little bit, more serious. Listen, we're focused on, which we are. We are not performing well. Like this is a beyond disappointing season to date. I think the focus is how do we improve right away, and then how do we really think about the future? And that's no brain surgery for anybody, thinking about basketball. Is the ownership and John Horst and everybody's trying to roadmap like what the next 3 months looks like and what the next 3 years look like.
So that was a very telling clip. Okay. And then if you went and you listen though to some of the questions Sparky did ask him, including about why he's leaving.
Mark Lazary, when he leaves and sells to Jimmy Haslam, one of the quotes that I saw from Mark Lazary was thunderstorms are near, or something along those lines from Lazary when he said that. And immediately, this was a couple years ago, obviously. And immediately your brain goes to, man, what in the world is going on here? Is this involving Giannis? What is really going on? And then there was all kinds of talk about why he got out one way or the other. Now we're potentially on the brink of Giannis leaving here at some point. And now you're leaving. Are you leaving with umbrella in hand on the way out of Milwaukee, Peter Fagan?
I am selfishly and excitingly leaving to kind of explore a next chapter, to spend more time in New York with my kids and my mother and like my wife and her family. And I just couldn't have imagined like how fulfilling these last 12 years are. And I think I'm just ready for a personal and professional pivot to think about what's next. So I think our growth is limitless, kind of in Milwaukee, and kind of the city has like that kind of motivation to kind of get there. But for me personally, like I kind of want the next challenge.
That right at the end was interesting to me because, and I got to give Sparky credit because what you didn't hear there was afterwards he said, well, and then you can come back in 10 years and fix this all again because I think that's where it's going. That's what he said. But he said to the SiriusXM people that this year has been really tough and quite a challenge for the Milwaukee Bucks. And then he goes and he answers Sparky's question and he says, I think I'm ready for a new challenge. And to me, that really painted the picture that I was afraid was the truth when the headlines came out that Peter Feigin was moving on of, yeah, I didn't want to have to be here for 12 months of constant moving on from Giannis. And I'm not looking for the challenge of rebuilding this without a Giannis. I've done 12 years. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm out. I'm going to look for the next thing.
Mid-season. That's the part that should scare us. This wasn't a decision that he made in the offseason, like Aaron Rodgers taking a darkness retreat and really thinking about his future. If Peter Feigin said that I'm excited for the next chapter of my life, for the next challenge, for family and both professionally and personally and so on, that's a decision that you're thinking about and have a plan for. When you make a decision to leave a professional sports franchise, when you're the hammer outside of the ownership group, during the season, sorry, bro, not buying it.
Yeah. Well, the one thing, and it wasn't asked, but the one thing that I could look at is that if he made that decision and they wanted him to be here to make a smoother transition to his replacement, and he was okay with that, there could have been the announcement and then him trying to help the Bucks and whoever the new one's going to be through, I don't know who it is, I don't remember his name, but to get him in a good spot. Maybe you could use that as an excuse, but you're right. It doesn't look good. And then the answers there, the little bit of conflicting between talking about the challenge that the Bucks are up against and then him saying, I'm looking for a new challenge is interesting to me because it seems like he's admitting, yeah, the Bucks are about to go through a tough time, but I put in my time. I got the Bucks here, which he did. Sparky also went and talked about all the things that Peter Feigin and the Bucks organization had done in Peter Feigin's time to bring the Bucks back to relevancy. But yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking it's not a good sign.
That's why I'm so annoyed though about all this Giannis stuff, because if Giannis isn't doing, not doing, saying, not saying all the things that are happening with the Milwaukee Bucks organization right now, this is a nothing burger. This is a dude who's just like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm ready for the next challenge. Away we go. But because of all the Giannis stuff, this is news. Because we look at this and go, what are we not knowing? What don't we know? What are we not hearing them say? There's more to this, and it's because of Giannis.
Yeah, but of course it's with in regards to Giannis. I mean, he said that multiple times. I honestly think we got more out of Peter Feigin yesterday throughout the media, especially with Sparky, than we had a lot of these other reports and social media posts, etc., on just the state of the Bucks. I mean, he even said in that first clip that I played with him on SiriusXM, he gave them credit for referencing Jay Crowder. And when we brought that up yesterday, if Jay Crowder talking about, we were 30-13 with Griffin. The problem was it all started with Doc. He said, good on you guys to play that. Look at where we are from a year ago. All these other things that have really shown how quickly the team and organization have gone downhill. And then that the front office hasn't even been able to focus on what they can do necessarily with this because they've just been getting flooded with every conversation for the last 12 months being about Giannis. He literally has been dealing with this for years, and he said it's never been like it is now in regards to fielding calls and dealing with the reports and everything else that's been going on in regards to Giannis and if he's going to continue to be a Milwaukee Buck.
Josh, what's your biggest fear with the Milwaukee Bucks organization right now? We talked about Giannis for days, weeks, months. The Peter Feigin story is back in the news because he made a few appearances yesterday. What's your biggest fear with all this?
They're going to trade Giannis, and they're not going to get anything anywhere near what they should back for him. And I don't trust this ownership group based on the fact that Doc Rivers is still your head coach to actually go forward in the rebuild with whatever they get back. I think that as it is, it's such a struggle. It's going to be such an uphill battle because of how much they've traded away to try to keep that championship window open with Giannis. And I don't trust this organization and this front office to be able to get there. And so I'm worried that they're going to trade him away for not enough and that it's going to just fall on its face. And it's going to take a long time for the Bucks, if ever, to truly get back to relevancy.
So losses. Your fear is we're going to suck for a long time.
Like a long, long time.
Not fear of the team leaving, not fear of.
Well, I think that's next, right? I think it snowballs to where that media narrative becomes the next one. After Giannis is out, it's the Bucks didn't do anything with what they got in that trade for Giannis. They've completely failed their fan base. Their fan base has completely moved on. It's time to just sell the team. That'll be the next national narrative in the next 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Is that your fear?
I think it can absolutely get there. My fear is more immediate. My fear is that I don't trust that the front office is going to be able to rebound.
So it's if we take a step back and really start to lose and not even be close to where we are right now, if that hangs on for too long, 3-4 years, there's a chance that we could be fearing the worst and the Bucks would move out of Milwaukee.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it as a possibility.
I wonder what the agreement is at the Fiserv. They didn't build the Fiserv with understanding that this could happen to the Bucks within the next 5 to 10 years. I wonder if there's a lease agreement or something along the lines. And Peter Fagan said it earlier. We heard him say it. This is something that this ownership is thinking about now because of the next 3 years. Like, where is this franchise going to be? Not too often in sports, let alone Wisconsin sports, do we see our teams do a complete reset. Like, all right, everybody, keep your pants on. We're going to reset this thing, and it's going to take a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
As a Bucks fan, would you be okay with that?
I think if I trusted that the organization would do it, right? I think that's the difference when we look at the Brewers front office, right? We trust Matt Arnold. GM of the year. I mean, he's proven himself, right? You look at the brass in Green Bay, which we are questioning a little bit, but there's the championship caliber in Green Bay. If there is a rebuild, what was it? A couple years, 2 years? And that's kind of what we look at for a rebuild, 2 years, which is why I think a lot of us wanted Giannis to be okay with us tanking. And hey, sorry, Giannis, give us a year or two to get these pieces around you and continue the dominance. Giannis didn't want that, and that might have started the dominoes of this downfall, along with head coaching decisions. But I don't think we trust the Bucks organization as much as we do the Packers or the Brewers organizations to rebuild.
Well, good news. According to the Nicolay Law fan talking text line, I love you guys. You're on this quick. 414-677-1250. It's a 30-year lease. The Bucks ain't going anywhere until 2048 minimum.
We confirm that? Is that true?
Numerous people.
Okay.
There's the third one. Per the lease, the Bucks are pretty much here until 2048. So, yeah, I mean, the fear isn't them leaving. The fear is them sucking. The biggest fear, though, is how long is it going to take until we rebound, pun intended, and get back to where we were. Here's the problem. In today's NBA, when superstar teams are a thing, it could take a little longer. But here's the other point. You're 1 or 2 players away from being right back to where you were. I see all of this, and I raise you Con Knipple and Cooper Flag. Are their teams any good at the moment? Probably not. Are they really good at the moment? Yes, they are. Last night, Cooper Flag was the first teenager to do what he did in that game. Scored as many points as he did. I saw that stat line this morning, the first teenager to ever do it. The NBA is getting younger and younger, which makes guys like Giannis that are 32 or LeBron in his early 40s, the span is great. And it doesn't necessarily need to be dependent on one guy, which is exactly why I think You look back at what it took for the Bucks to do what they did in the 90s and early 2000s. It was those big three. The same is true for Giannis. And we're lying if we say anything differently. It was Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Mm-hmm.
This team has not been able to replace those two guys, which is why they haven't been able to do what they did with Giannis. We've tried. We've tried to rebuild around Giannis, and it's not working. That's where my opinion comes in, going, all right, well, then it's time to rebuild, period. Let's start over. Let's get what we can get for Giannis, and away we go.
I'm hands in the air. Praise the Lord here for the 414 that texted in on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line and said, the fact that a world exists where Giannis is gone before Doc has me completely defeated as a Bucks fan. That's Ron and Dallas. That's where I'm at, right? You want me to accept the fact that Giannis might not be here. I understand that that's a reality, that could be reality. But the fact that we're having that conversation and Doc Rivers is still your head coach makes me feel like I can't even begin to trust this organization to do the right thing. And that's what sucks. And that's what's going to stop me from wanting to spend my money at Pfizer Forum. That type of leadership.
From a business standpoint, though, that makes sense. Like, you just have to back out of it for a hot second, put the fanatic thing to the side and go business-wise, why would they get rid of Doc right now?
Because you're losing the fan base.
Nah, not from a business standpoint.
Okay.
The fan base is going to change. Giannis is going to get traded, most likely. The fan base is going to change. We're not losing the Bucks fan base. I don't think there's anything more the Bucks could do right now to have these fans be even more annoyed, dismayed, whatever word you want to use. If they're going to move on from Doc, it'll be in the offseason. There's no reason to move on from Doc right now. If anything, I would question ownership and management even more if they did move on from Doc right now. That makes no sense to move on from Doc Rivers this moment.
I couldn't disagree more. It can always be worse, and it's getting worse after every single game. I'm telling you, it's even if your plan is to tank, you can still send a message to the organization that there is some bar that we refuse to get lower than.
John Kuhn joins us next as we cross over from 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff, wrapping up today's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. When we come back, we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, and John Kuhn from 9 to noon joins us now. John, we were talking about how fragile the Bucs organization seems to be with Giannis and Peter Fagan, and whether or not now is the right time to move on from Doc Rivers. We've seen it a lot in the NFL. Is there a right time or a wrong time, or what are your thoughts on the whole Doc thing?
Well, specifically as this season is at hand, I wouldn't. Why let him go now? Why not let him go now? It doesn't really matter. It's a horse apiece. It's a half dozen here and 6 of the other. And quite frankly, if you let go of Doc at the end of the season, no harm, no foul compared to right now, unless you really truly believe that this group of Bucs can make a run with a change at head coach, and specifically meaning Darvin Ham stepping up into that interim head coach role. Do they get inspired? Do they start doing stuff differently? I mean, you do see in the NFL when teams fire head coaches midseason, sometimes they get the interim head coach bump. And could the Bucs make a little bit of a run? I don't know if the Bucs want to make a little bit of a run and put the lottery in jeopardy. So it's like, okay, Doc, do the best thing you can do. Go out there, let the team play hard for you. Hint, wink, wink, finger quotes. And then when we finish with a lottery pick, then fine. We'll let you go back to golfing wherever you like to golf, Doc, and we'll go about our business rebuilding this team, whether it's rebuilding around Giannis, and there'll be a lot of conversations then about if they can do that, or rebuilding without Giannis and a trade if it doesn't happen before next week.
So you don't think that if they keep Doc for the rest of the season, that it's going to affect the fan base at all?
The fan base is affected right now. The fan base is already, they are currently affected, and you can't make a decision based off of that. Quite frankly, just lower some ticket prices and try and get people in for
ain't going to do that either
for half price ticket. Well, okay, so then don't, and have a quarter to half filled Pfizer Forum for the rest of the games this year, and just deal with the punishment, deal with the pain of what is a gap year.
John, that's what I was saying. I don't see any business reason to move on from Doc Rivers right now. I mean, we got to take our fanatic hat off for just a hot second.
No.
Look at the business of the Bucs. There's literally no financial reason whatsoever to move on from Doc Rivers right now.
Keep your fanatic hat on as well and say, there's also no reason to get rid of Doc Rivers right now. What do you want, Josh? Do you, as a fan, as a big-time fan, would you rather the Bucs sneak into that 10th seed and win a play-in game and get the 8th seed and then lose in the first round and lose a lottery pick that you could put around? No, I don't want that. No. Get as high as you possibly can. Get as many of those ping pong balls as you possibly can. And the best way to do that is let Doc keep coaching.
So for me, it's the statement that you're making. If you truly think that getting rid of Doc and putting anyone else in there as an interim head coach leads to the Bucs being able to win more games, then how are you not admitting that Doc being there is a humongous problem and a bad look? I don't understand how you can look at the Packers and go, I can't believe that Rich Bisaccia still has a job, and then look at the Bucs and go, yeah,
well,
but it's
I don't
fine.
say that. I mean, I understand why Rich Bisaccia still has a job.
Well, that's true. You've taken a lot of heat from Packers fans too.
Yeah, because again, people don't understand my stance there on that one, right? And my stance with Rich Bisaccia is completely different than my stance on Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers has players that we thought would at least compete. Now Giannis has been hurt the whole year, but you can look at the way that Miles Turner is fitting with this team, and it does not look right. It doesn't feel right. You can look at the way when Giannis is on the court and he wants the ball, when he was on the court, he wants the ball to work through him. And Doc Rivers is like every other possession, it's working through somebody else. I mean, you could tell the philosophy of Doc Rivers isn't working. I don't think it's the philosophy with Rich Bisaccia. I see people in position to make plays. Rich Bisaccia doesn't kick the football. That's Brandon McManus that kicks the football. And Rich Bisaccia isn't in position to catch onside kicks, even though he put our best receiver in position to catch an onside kick and he just dropped it, right? That's on the players. That's not on the coach in that one. And I firmly believe this. If McManus...
Johnny, we got to go, buddy. We're going to find out your philosophy in just a hot second on 9 to noon with John Kuhn. He was going on one.
I know.
I don't blame him whatsoever. Inside Wisconsin Sports. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sorry, John. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Because we're not done yet.